Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the Skillless Podcast. My name is Josh Carrillo, and joining me as always is my amazingly wonderful co-host, Seth Luna. Seth, how are you, my friend? It's been a while.
It's been a while, man. Like, we had some life stuff and everything, too, as well. That just kind of gotten away at this point.
But we shall persevere. You can't get rid of us that easily.
Oh, no, definitely
What
not.
you been up to in the meantime?
Well, ironically, like, I think, what's funny thing, too, like, I was, like, wondering, like, why wasn't, like, I editing the last one that quickly and everything, too? Because of that whole talk of, like, Target and everything, too. I think that's part of the reason why I kind of was, like, just, like, wanted to stay away from that for a little bit until I finally did. And it's this funny thing too, because I think after that episode release, I want to say it was like maybe either a week or a couple weeks or a week or two after I finally went and quit Target too.
Yeah,
So,
we both had some life updates. We both started new jobs.
Basically.
Fuck Target, officially.
Oh yeah, definitely fuck it and everything too. But yeah, pretty much like we both started new jobs and everything, and then pretty much we kind of gotten busy with life stuff and everything too as well, with some D&D as well as like some gaming and everything too as well. So. Yeah.
No, I feel bad because D&D is going to have a long hiatus coming up just because I have so much happening for the next 4 weeks. Next week is Kang's wedding, which I'm super, super excited for. I need to go dress shirt shopping still.
I still need to like also buy some new dress pants too because I think the old one I have is like ripped. Plus, I think I still have my old shirt. I think I had like I've been using for years at this point too. The blue one.
Yeah, if you want to go with me, you can. I found a cool
I'm
spot that has like stuff for us.
Yeah, I'm down.
So we got Kang's wedding. A week after that, I have a trip to Phoenix to go watch my favorite band, Vince Umfold.
Oh,
and then
yeah, that's right.
2 days later, I'm coming back in Albuquerque and I'm watching my favorite band, Vince Umfold.
Right, with me and
you in
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Well. The day after that, I have a Bad Omens concert.
Oof, damn.
The weekend after that, I have to start packing because Willie and I will be moving into a different apartment the following weekend.
Oh,
so
yeah, I
it's
forgot about that.
just a non-stop like onslaught of crap life shit. I mean, not crap. I mean, I'm fucking gonna see Vince Umfold, but like just life hitting heavy. I also got a kitty. That's a life update. I got Brooklyn and I picked up a kitty.
I know, like she looks pretty cute and everything.
Yeah, his name is Ross. He's a cool dude. He's
nice.
He has like little grandpa meows. He's adorable. I feel bad because like I got him like adjusted to like the living room first.
Oh yeah.
And for the first couple nights we slept with him because like one, I wanted to make sure he'd be okay, and two, like I didn't want him like scratching at shit or like freaking out. So Brooklyn and I stayed in there, but then we started sleeping back in the bedroom and closing the door. And now I think he's starting to get lonely. So I need to like really clean up so Katie can come like chill and sleep in here and stuff like that. Of course. Yeah. I just feel bad for my roommates because I fucking snore like so goddamn loud. Like I don't think I've talked about this. It's so bad sometimes, Seth, that like Brooklyn has to sleep in the living room because I'm gonna make her go deaf.
Damn, that's pretty insane. Which is funny thing too, because like you, me can easily sleep together too as well, because we both snore.
Yeah, like when we travel and shit, like if one person's out, the other person's out. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, like Brooklyn, I feel bad, like because she either has to sleep with headphones in, or what I'm probably gonna have to do is like I have to get her like travel. They make these they're like earplugs for sleep.
Yeah.
So you can just pop them in when you're sleeping and then take them out when you wake up, but. It's bad, and I think I'm also gonna scare Kitty.
He's gonna be waking. He's gonna be waking up like in the middle of the night. What the hell is that noise coming from?
Fucking Poswats telling me to shut the fuck up because I snore too goddamn much.
I know. Like we're just gonna get a random like text in a group message saying like the kitty just woke me up by snoring too loud and everything. Mm-hmm. But man, that's actually you have a really busy like schedule upcoming for the next month or so too.
And that's just a little bit like, and then we got like holiday time. Kang's moving into a new house. Mm-hmm. You know, Christmas is around the corner. I started talking to Stevon and a couple other people about planning for Japan 2025. So that's exciting.
Which I still need to actually look at the website too. Ironically, I still because I've been so busy with work and everything.
So Japan 2025 is looking like a thing.
Nice.
My mom and I were talking because next year we're going to London. Going to France and going to Amsterdam in September, so that's gonna be super fun. I just have to fill out all the paperwork. My passport's already done, so man, like got a lot of like cogs moving. I've been stepping up my game.
I bet, man. That's really absolutely insane and everything too as well. Holy shit, dude.
And between all of that, we've just been playing Starfield.
You're right, that's dude. I mean, I know, right? It's funny thing too, cause like while you've been doing that, I've been nothing but mostly been playing Starfield as well as like playing like maybe 2 other games, if anything, too as well. That I didn't think I actually would be bringing back too as well. That
well, one of them was surprisingly Overwatch, huh?
Yeah, I like somehow Carlos suckered me back into Carlos and Jordan suckered me back into Overwatch 2 and everything too. So
poor bastard.
Yeah, which ironically I've been enjoying it, but also been frustrated too because like I've been rusty on it too, but I've been slowly been getting it back.
Because there's like right now.
It's been between 3 people, so Bastion, Soldier, if I can do it, McCree, and I've been experimenting with Junkrat, Widowmaker. If I need to be a healer, I would need to either be Zenyatta, Baptiste, and I think that's only those 2. I think right now that I've been mostly been playing.
Like how you still play a lot of the classic characters.
Yeah, like because I haven't been like able to. It's not like I haven't been able to play, but I just been more comfortable with it, and especially with like some of the games that we had where been close combats where like I know I need to like at least do my better movement too. Because I actually went and recorded at least one of the matches. I wish I could have recorded more angles from it, or at least from different separate angles. But also, there was a time when it was after work too as well, and pretty much like Carlos and those guys wanted to play too. So I only recorded like one view, and it was with the dynamic view too of like both first person and third person view, and switching between me, Jordan, and Carlos's view and everything too. But that one was like a comeback match because we were losing, I think 2-0. And we managed to come back with a 3-2 win and everything too as well. We managed to like just somehow win it all and everything. But that was a fun game, and that's a funny thing too, because like I don't know if you saw me earlier. There was a specific update that I told only Draper because he's also kind of a big fan too. The fact that like the EA, or I should say Respawn entirely, they updated the servers for Titanfall 2. So now it's not
what the other game was that you were trying to bring up.
Yeah, it's because I don't know what's been going on the past like month or so. There's been something speculating, and people were speculating, and people have been like looking at just severely different ones, especially if when I was looking through the Art Titanfall like Reddit subreddit and everything too. The fact that like in the like it's just been random stuff that like everybody's been noticing, like it's kind of odd that like this is going on. So some of the few things that has been showing up was the fact that randomly PC Game Pass tweeted out saying that hey, if you're playing Titanfall 2, cool and everything, just randomly out of nowhere.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Moi Para, one of the guys I follow on YouTube and on Twitter, well X, I still consider it Twitter, but he kind of
fuck that.
Yeah. But like he went and tweeted out saying like kind of like doing like a little like cool thing, like the BT putting a thumbs up and everything. I think saying like yeah, freaking like excited for some news coming up because I guess there's something coming up too. But also then too the fact that like even in I think the last Apex patch notes, I think for the newest season about to come up, has some numbers in there randomly in there. But people noticed that the numbers on there were basically the release dates for Titanfall 2, and Apex Legends.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and plus also then people have been noticing too that the fact that this current season will end the day before, and the new season will start on the day that Titanfall 2 was released, which will be within next month. I think in October. I want to say, if I remember correctly, it was either October or November. Because I still also remember specifically when Titanfall 2 came out, how much I was so hyped, but also I was so pissed off too. The fact that EA kind of fucked this game over because it was between the release of Battlefield, I think, it was the World War I, Battlefield 1, and I think Call of Duty. What was that Call of Duty one? That was so long ago. But like, yeah, it was. I'm sure. Yeah, it was like just a random Call of Duty. I don't think that did well, but like it was specifically like it was like juncture in between those 2 big releases, like literally a week before Battlefield, Titanfall 2 release, and then the week after it was Call of Duty. So it kind of got fucked over on that one, which is kind of got me angry, and I'm still angry to this day about that specific like game release and everything too. That it didn't get the attention it deserved, and it still outlasted and everything too. But yeah, I was playing basically Frontier Defense. There's no like like getting kicked out from disconnection from like servers and everything too. And I even actually played some multiplayer, which I kind of did a little rage a little bit because I am so fucking rusty off of that game too as well.
Yeah,
So
I can imagine. Yeah.
yeah, so like I'm really rusty at that game, so I'm trying to just play mostly frontier defense. That's also another way to like rank up some certain guns and everything too.
Mm.
But yeah, like other than that, like basically just something's going on with the Titanfall / Apex universe at this point. I don't know what's going on. Either there could be a new character that's related to the Titanfall going into Apex that they're teasing, or the fact that like people were expecting maybe it's a long shot, but maybe it might be Titanfall 3. Because have you ever heard about Titanfall 3 like production and everything?
No, I haven't heard anything on it. Like the last thing I've heard of was like Titanfall 2 and then Apex came out.
Yeah, so apparently like Titanfall 3 was I guess in full production and everything too. And I guess at a certain point they stopped production on it because they didn't think, I don't know, for some whatever reason, I need to look into it, but Titanfall 3 was actually in production and everything too. And I think they finally, I guess because of the Apex and everything too, with the Battle Royale like going on and everything, I guess they canceled the production on Titanfall 3 and went full on to Titanfall or Apex and everything too. Because of just how like I guess like they thought it was a better idea and everything too. I don't know for some reason, but
it's like it was the peak battle royale hype time.
Yeah,
is really what it was. Like Fortnite was popping, Call of Duty was popping, so like that was just the ideal time to release something like that.
Yeah, which is funny thing too because nobody at the time, especially even me, nobody knew what Respawn was doing at the time too. Was all like it was. I still definitely remember it was like the weekend, I think after the Super Bowl or. It was a Tuesday after the Super Bowl that they were teasing and everything too, that they were gonna say that, oh hey, we have something released, which is funny thing too because of I still remember getting hyped to release or watch it, and it's funny when they finally released it and everything too, I was actually hyped up for it like because it was actually pretty cool and everything. Also then like it actually released the same day that they announced that it was like, oh hey, we have Apex like coming out. And you can play it the day of and everything too. So I still remember like how much nobody knew exactly what this game was when it first came out and how much of a storm it came to. Because even at the time too, Apex still brought some like stuff that like wasn't even known or people didn't think to put in a battle royale, which was the response, in battle royale. Yeah, it's because Modern Warfare never had it, nor did Fortnite ever had it, which is surprising too as well. Which is why like everybody was thinking like, oh, which is why we're that early meme of like, oh well, will Fortnite copy this time because Fortnite somehow always managed to copy off of the stuff that were pretty big or that people liked and everything too, off from different other games to add to their own game too. Which is funny things because even then like their respawn system was like hastily made and just like put in the game at that point after Apex was like shown and everything too. And I think it was also the ping system too as well that was also revolutionized Battle Royale too as well. Because that was brand new at the time too as well. Is what I remember correctly that everybody now uses.
It's hard to like remember like what game originally came with what gimmick because now they've all blended into like this one amalgamation. Like every single game has the same mechanics almost. So like it's
basically.
Because now, like, Call of Duty has respawns. You can, like, go to the gulag and you can go, like, rescue your friends and you can do, like, other shit. Like, pings exist now, so it's hard to remember a time where, like, oh, this had this, but this has this. Which one do you like better?
Yeah. Which is funny thing, too, because, like, even if you really think about it, it was, like, Fortnite and then PUBG before that, too. That was really big before that.
Oh, PUBG, yeah.
Yeah, which is funny thing, too, because I bet you if you go to PUBG now, it probably is, like, a lot different from when we were playing it, too, as well. If anything, too, because of like because it's like some of the quality of life like differences between the years and everything that kind of updated is like, man, I forgot that this wasn't a thing at the time and everything too as well.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it was like, oh my god, too, is like, god damn, I can't believe it at this point. But yeah, that's the one thing that I've been kind of just been going on, and oh my fucking god, Starfield's so fucking good.
Like, yeah, it's I love it every single time. It's just. It sucks me. Like sometimes I get lost just in the world
Yeah.
Just like I'll like be in a large city and I'll just like watch the spaceships come up and down, like landing, and I'll get caught listening to like the NPCs, and I get so sidetracked from the quest I'm doing because like I'll hear someone mention like, oh, there's something here on this planet in this system. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go check that shit out because why the fuck wouldn't I? And then like by the time I remember what I'm doing, I'm like 10 fucking planets away. I'm like, oh,
right. Okay. I know, yeah, because even like there's some because there's I sometimes would say like, okay, I'll do this after I get this done and everything too, and then slowly it's like, okay, no, I'll delay it. I need to do something more. I need to do this more because like even though like the exploration, like there's some plans where it's kind of like deserted and everything too, or there's like no life and everything. It's still interesting too because there's like certain like I don't know if you gone that to this part yet, but like at a certain point you can like actually like when you survey the planet on over and everything too, it'll give you like a kind of like a rough list of like, okay, what this is like, what resources on it, and then if like there's any like bit like traits on it and everything too. If you land on the planet itself and then exit out and then you go onto your like the navigation thing, I think it's your left bumper, I think, for the controllers. I don't know what it is on the thing where you get out your mining tool and everything too as well.
Yeah, I learned something new. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I learned on TikTok has taught me so many things about Starfield I didn't know I knew and probably wasted hours on. I didn't know you could focus the fucking beam on your cutter until like fucking 15 hours in, and I'm like, oh, that's so much faster. Oh my god, I hate myself.
Oh no, believe me, like I know there's been so much I've been learning too, because I still remember too when you said like yeah, I have so much stuff that like freaking like I freaking carry and everything too, like I have like almost like 2,000 worth of like stuff I have sealed in my constellation area or like house. Spoiler alert, you get a little thing. I mean, it's like start of the game, so you'll probably get it. But and then like I still remember you saying like, yeah, I always have to like bring that stuff and bring it to my ship and everything too. But until you said like oh yeah, the constellation has all that stuff like in their building, I was like, oh okay. Not only like I spent like I think maybe a week or two. I think it was like as of like maybe last weekend. It wasn't until I finally realized, oh, that's where it was. Like I didn't realize there was an actual basement to the house and everything too. That's what you mentioned.
Really?
Yeah, that's how long it took me like to realize. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so imagine me trying to like go from the freaking like my homeroom, getting all the resources, walking back to my ship, and literally doing all the researches right there, and then going back to my freaking room and everything, all over encumbered and everything like that too, without realizing that's underneath in the basement. Seth. Yeah, so that's how long I was doing that.
You also know you can automatically put stuff in your ship when you're exploring, right?
Oh no, yeah, I know that. Like I literally, yeah. Oh no, I knew that immediately firsthand. Like because it's just sometimes I forget. Like oh yeah, I forgot I could put my stuff in there. I knew that like thing within week one, but it's the research and everything that when you upgrade your stuff and everything is like it was like in there. It was like oh that's what he meant and everything too as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's some I don't know how far you are into the story, but there's some like there's a lot of stuff that in there, but especially with the main story is like. Oh my god, I can't believe this. Because even Draper
it makes sense about New Game Plus, why everyone's like, no, it's better with New Game Plus, because semi-spoiler alert, when you like acquire like the powers and stuff, I can now see why it would benefit you restarting with all of those like perks and stuff.
Yeah, especially like, because even then, like right now, like I've like not like upgraded, but like there's like certain like perks that like I've already completed the challenges for and everything too, that like I have so much challenges that I already done. Plus the fact that like there's certain like stuff that I like, oh, I really should get into that, so it'll help me on this and everything too. Oh, I probably should, but this one will be beneficial for me later and everything too. Cause like it's like so much stuff that like so every time I like up like get like a level up and everything too, it's so much more harder to like figure out, okay, which one should I put it in at this point, because I have so much that's like, should I upgrade this or should I get a new skill to benefit me later on and everything too as well? Mm-hmm. That's like I've been so like it takes me at least maybe like 10 to 20 minutes just like figuring out like what should I put my one upgrade and everything to into my skill tree at this point. That's how long it takes me each one, because if you look at my skill tree, it's like holy fuck, what am I doing at this point and everything? It's just like so fucking like oh my god, it's so good, but it's like I spent so many hours in that game just doing nothing but exploring, gathering resources, doing missions and everything too. I was like, my god, dude, and I still haven't touched the fucking like spaceship like building too. Like I want to get into that.
Oh, that
like,
part's
fuck.
fun, man. I've seen so many fucking cool ships on like TikTok and stuff. That's just, oh god, there's so much to do in this game. It's just like, how do I find the time to attempt? This is easy, like 100-hour game.
Oh, easily. I mean, like I already spent like I'm already like as I sent you to later. Like me and Draper are like almost like neck and neck on like how many hours we play. Like I'm already currently at least at 3 days already on this game, just alone, just playing it and everything too as well, nonstop. And I think Draper's like last time I checked, he was like we were within 2 hours of each other. So I think I was like 2 or 3 hours. So I was like 3 days, 3 hours on there, and Draper was like 3 days, 5 hours in there too as well. So, but yeah, it's such a game. Like this is honestly like beforehand, like before this game was out, the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection was my game of the year. This one may actually eked out that game for game of the year at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know exactly how much I was waiting for this Legacy Collection too as well. Like how many years I've been waiting. But the fact that like Starfield kind of eked it out and kind of like because as I said, I've been playing this nonstop. It's like with Mega Man Legacy Collection too. I've been playing nonstop, but also even then, I still want to come back to play it too as well. So those who are like really like up there with like which one would be my first and second of the whole year of Game of the Year and everything too. But
I'm gonna tell you what game's not Game of the Year.
What?
Fucking Pokemon.
Why?
So like in the interim between our previous episode and now, the Pokemon DLC dropped for Teal Mask.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And oh my god, I didn't think it could get worse. It got much worse.
Really? I didn't think that was possible.
It's the map is smaller, but the performance got substantially worse. Like I'll load into a zone like with like water effects or like people, and it just chugs. I was actually doing the math because the Switch tells you how many hours you've played total. Yeah. And then the in-game clock obviously tells you how many hours you've played.
Yeah.
I think I am at like 250 hours. I've lost 15 hours due to frame skips.
15 hours?
Yeah. You lose about 1 hour per every 8 hours you play. Of just dropped frames. That's how fucking bad it is.
That's absolutely like...
Imagine an hour of playtime I could have done, but I was stuttering my way through fucking like jumping on Maridon and then trying to jump up a cliff or something. Like it's that's so bad. This is the first Pokemon game where I have no fucking desire to finish the DLC.
That's saying something too, because you are always usually the one.
And I got the DLC for free. Let me clarify this. Yeah, I had fucking credits like on my GameStop account. I was like, I'm just gonna fucking get it. Yeah. I fucking bought it. Ass garbage. Fucking boo-boo butt. The legendaries look like shit. It fucking plays like shit. It's just shit. I feel bad because, like, Brooklyn's been like, oh, can we play Pokemon together? I'm like, I would absolutely love to if it was any other fucking game. Because it gets even worse when you connect to another person's lobby because now both of your frames are trying to compensate for internet lag and then frame skipping. It's fucking garbage. I fucking hate it. So instead of that, we've been playing Disney's Illusion Island.
Is that an Xbox game?
It's a Switch only game. It's a 2D platforming Disney game, and it plays like Rayman kind of, or like Ori.
Oh, okay, got it.
It's fucking awesome. It's like the entire thing is voiced. It has beautiful cutscenes, and it's just like super cutesy. Totally, I'd buy that over Pokemon right now, and I've never said that.
Yeah, that's just wow. That's really crazy that you actually say that and everything too as well.
Fucking garbage,
like
Pokemon. Oh
yeah,
god.
Yeah, because I was expecting you to say like, I expected you to say, especially when you bring up Pokemon, I was expecting you to say like, oh yeah, it's like pretty cool DLC. Like it's actually so much stuff.
Nope,
I wasn't expecting that. Opposite.
It's a fucking hot steaming bag of shit on a 115-degree day in Phoenix. It's
Oh my god.
absolute fucking ass.
Damn, that's just
Because
wow.
like
That's
even Brooklyn playing it, she's like, I don't really want to. I'm like, cool, I don't want to either. Can we just watch like 911 on Hulu and just not play Pokemon? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So that's what I've been doing. You've also I got you into Ahsoka, and I'm so glad I did.
oh my god. I still have yet to watch the recent one, but
the recent one is even. It's not better. Okay, nothing can top that episode.
No,
4.
nothing can top the last one before and everything.
But it's good because X happens, and it's just like I am terrified for what's to come.
I know, like it's like there's the funny thing too, because you know what's also coming up soon too as well that I'm excited for is coming out soon. Loki season 2.
Oh, it comes out in October. Oh fuck, October's next month. Oh god, October's in 2 weeks. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is we're ramping up like the quick of the year at this point and everything too.
Me, dude.
Which is like crazy to think how quickly this year's been going now too as well after everything too. So, but yeah, it literally comes out I think October 2nd or October 5th, from what I remember correctly, from what I saw on my email and everything too.
I think it's October 2nd. Yeah, it's normally on Wednesdays.
Let me check the calendar.
Or Monday. Well, 4th, 2nd. It's someday.
Yeah, it's someday. I think it'd probably be the 5th because I think Marvel and Disney or Marvel and Star Wars have like different. Yeah, because they have like different like sets, like different schedules for like each like property. I think I remember last time and everything.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, I know. It was like, I know, because even then I'm excited for freaking November too. The first week of November is when I go back to LA for the Kiss concert and everything too. So it's like, oh god. So fucking can't wait for that too, because this is their last concert ever too. So finally, but yeah, it's god, like this is how like good Ahsoka was for that last episode I watched. The fact, because I was like usually playing like Starfield and everything too. I literally had to stop and focus. I literally stopped Starfield, switched the input to my computer, and literally dragged the screen over from my second monitor to my first monitor to my TV, and literally just focus on watching it because that's how good it was for that episode and everything.
I feel bad because like I feel like a lot of the times I text you something and like I feel like I overhype it sometimes, but this was one of those things where I'm like, no, you have to watch it. This is like peak Star Wars television moment. Just like having Anakin back in Clone Wars costume, in Clone Wars memories, spoilers, with fucking, it's by this time it's already 3 weeks out, it's fine, with right? Clone Wars era fucking live action, with Captain Rex there, with like so much good, with fucking Nightfall Anakin like popping up,
and young Ahsoka too as well,
young Ahsoka eye, like Sith eyes. It was just choreographed lightsaber battles again. He did the Obi-Wan trick. Oh my god, dude! It was just magnificent, like magnifique. It was
right,
immaculate.
And the fact that the lighting too. Every time he like you hear the lighting, it goes quickly to a Darth Vader look, and immediately comes back to Anakin, and you can see his like Sith eyes coming through it. And the fact after that too as well that like you see it go like after he blinks softly, it literally comes back to the blue Anakin, like old school Anakin too. Is like like I'm so glad that they got Hayden Christensen back too as well.
The CGI was good too. Like it was
and the fact too
good.
And the fact too that like it's funny too because like he actually was kind of like almost bullied out or like he really hated the role too, and the fact that he finally kind of got embraced by it again too and brought back for all these like roles that like he managed or that he can like really put his fucking like just so fucking good.
Yeah, because all the kids who grew up with prequel era like grew up
with the Hayden Christensen.
With Hayden, and like he didn't have this because like that was pre-internet, you know, that was just like super harsh fucking film critics at the time.
Yeah.
And all of this like other negativity around like the reception of the movie.
Yeah.
And then like we all grew up and we're all just like, no, dude, you're actually a fucking badass. We love you.
Yeah.
And
which is kind of crazy too, because if you really kind of think about it at the time, I don't think they put as much development into Anakin too as well. So that's the reason why like it kind of like because especially with his acting too as well. Like it didn't seem he's a pretty good actor and everything too. Like his facial like because especially if you go back to especially Revenge of the Sith. Like if you look at his just the physical acting that he does and everything too, it's just so good. The fact that they didn't give him much more on-air time, but for Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, that like it's now giving him much more time for the character that he can play for these TV shows and everything shows how much of a good actor he was, and the fact that he was kind of almost underutilized from the 2 movies that he was used and everything too as well.
True.
It just
he does it well, man. Like,
yeah.
Even when he's playing Vader in like the Obi-Wan series, like a lot of people have harsh criticisms about the Obi-Wan series, but one thing they all agree on is Hayden is perfect.
Yeah, it's just such a good, especially that final battle. Like you can tell from when he fully kills out the Anakin character into becoming Darth Vader, and that specific scene alone, like just from the coloring, the freaking atmosphere, the freaking music, and everything, it's just so. Oh my god, I love that fucking scene so good.
Yeah, and now with Ahsoka, like Dave Filoni is like blessing us with the best Star Wars content. We are in a golden age, and I'm super excited for the new movie that's coming out.
We need to see that in theaters, if anything. Like that's
100%.
The one movie we need to see.
We got the scariest motherfucker, like military genius, like in the galaxy, about to fight badasses. Like
which is also then the one thing that kind of sucks. That's the one thing that's really kind of pissing me off. It's like how good these like after Empire, freaking like early like Republic era, like Renaissance and everything again. It makes me kind of like really like irritated the fact that this leads up into the sequel series. That's the one thing that keeps that's the one thing that keeps like bothering me in the back of my head, that these are such a good like after Empire in between episode 6 and episode 7. The fact that like, oh god, this like is leading up into the sequel series. Like I really do not. It's such a tragic like that this is going on and everything too.
I just think that like Dave Filoni needs to take over for Kathleen Kennedy as head of like Star Wars.
At least.
Because that man has done so much extensive research like into even just Legends content, which is why he pulls like the idea of Revan back and all of these other things he pulls in to make it quote unquote canon again, is because this man is like judge, jury, and executioner. This man has like a master's degree in Star Wars, and easily. I trust that man with my life.
Yeah, it's like absolutely insane, like how good he is, especially even like with the Mandalorian series, like how he brought in with different like directors too for different episodes, and like how each director has their own specific feel for the like episode and everything too. So like one episode will be kind of like almost like a space western and everything too, while another is like action packed and everything like that too, while some are like softer moments, while some are more like heavier moments and everything too. It's like he knows how to like bring in which director he wants for which season or shows, and especially for episodes too, he knows which one to get to portray what he wants to get across for the whole season, or like shows he wants and everything too as well. It's like I don't know, it's like so god damn, it's fucking god. Like I don't know, there's so much praises you can do like that outweighs like some of the few negatives that he has and everything. Like
see, I think that's what makes Ahsoka special, because like Ahsoka is technically just Rebels season 5, and that was his baby, so he can fully finish out these long, you know, almost decade-long stories he's been writing. I saw a fucking great thing on TikTok with him. It was 2 or 3 years ago, and I think he's at like Star Wars Con. He's like at Star Wars the celebration.
Oh yeah.
And he's being interviewed, and the interviewer, or like Dave Filoni's finishing up his conversation, and he's like, "Well, you haven't asked where Ezra is." And, and then the interviewer goes, "Where is Ezra?" And Dave Filoni just deadpans and stares at her, and he's just like, "Far, far away." And do you know what this most recent episode title is called?
Oh no way!
It's called fucking Far, Far Away. This man has had everything in the works forever.
Oh my god, the genius on this guy! I swear to God, it's like, oh my god, dude, this is like absolutely insane. Like, oh my god.
You'll like the next episode because the next episode's really good. I won't get into detail because it just aired, but like,
of course, yeah.
It's pretty good.
Oh, like this is such a good I love this fucking like this man and this whole Star Wars series and everything too. Is like fuck, but my god, dude, it's such a good like era for Star Wars content and everything at that point, as you keep saying.
That it is. Now you know what's having a bad era right now.
Marvel.
No, Microsoft.
No? Really?
So a couple weeks ago, well, sorry, I guess it's months ago, you and I talked about the Xbox versus FTC stuff here on the podcast.
Oh, but ironically, you know what's the funny thing too? Like, there's actually some news that actually happened, I think within this week, that the British actually approved the preliminary hearing for the merger and everything too as well.
Mm-hmm. That was confirmed.
Yeah, so that's actually going to be happening soon and everything too. But what's the other news and everything that you have?
So while positive news in the UK court system, the FTC accidentally leaked all of Microsoft plans through like 2028.
2028 for fucking 5 years?
Yes, because they had to disclose their emails and like their roadmaps and their new consoles and controllers. They had to submit all of this to the FTC. And the FTC's like website where you upload your documents accidentally leaked that out. And there's quite a few things to go over. So I'm going to throw these at you, and I just want to know your takes on them, because some of these I think are really cool. Some of these I'm concerned about, and then some of these are just kind of funny.
Yeah, it was just funny thing too, because this is kind of like almost like corporate espionage at this point too as well, if you really think about it, because it's kind of giving like Sony an upper hand at like what Microsoft has in plans too. So it's giving them a little advanced notice of like, oh hey, Xbox is doing this, we'll make it better and do this. So it's kind of like fucking them so badly at this point, with Sony being like an asshole and everything like that too as well. So,
yeah,
anyway,
it's not a positive like situation, but like at this point we're just gonna have to move in. So the first note of many is they can so I should clarify now. Most of this is probably subject to change because a lot of these documents are from like 2021, 2022.
Oh, they're probably like already changing a lot already at this point, if anything.
But we could probably say a lot of these are set in stone.
Yeah.
So the first one states Elder Scrolls 6 is an Xbox console exclusive.
That one I kind of would believe that, if anything, because as much as as much flack as they'll get, it hasn't really like pretty much like dampened the game sales and everything too. It's like, look at Starfield. The Starfield still has been...
Starfield's fucking huge.
Yeah, Starfield's been doing huge, and if Starfield's doing that good, imagine how much like Elder Scrolls will be at that point. So I think Elder Scrolls will probably be bumping for Xbox, if anything, at that point.
And especially, I think Elder Scrolls is going to have a lot of it's going to be a lot more PC players, because a lot of people play on PC, especially for Elder Scrolls games. So the fact that it's on Game Pass and you can mod it and all of these other things, I think that is like a pretty deep cut to PlayStation fans.
Yeah, because I mean, also then you notice too that like with also going back to Starfield, you notice that like it was actually the highest rated too as well for people, and then people started review bombing the whole thing as well.
And it's like because it's still so fucking good.
Yeah, it's so good, which is funny thing too, because like there's like a lot of like review bombs that saying like, oh, it's not on the X or PlayStation and everything too like that. But there's also some actual criticism that like actually is on there that's actually should be like stayed on there. But there's a lot of stuff that's like people are just angry about it too. That's basically kind of like how they did with Legend of Zelda and everything too as well. Like when it came, like it was like the highest rated and it immediately got dumped and everything too. because people didn't want it to be on there and everything too. So it's like crazy. But yeah, I think Elder Scrolls being on Xbox would help out Xbox a lot, if anything, especially like with how it did with Xbox. Because ironically, I'll tell you like the reason why too, because somebody like I know, he's a huge PlayStation fan and everything too. He actually got a Xbox earlier or Series S earlier in the year, but went and traded out and everything too because he didn't really like need it and everything too.
Mm-hmm.
But because also he always kind of like, because every time or back when we were working together and everything too in Target, he always kind of give me crap and everything too, like, you know, playful crap and everything too, like with like, oh yeah, PlayStation's better and everything like that too. This man actually bought a Series S to play Starfield and everything too.
Oh yeah, dude. Like
yeah, and he even like messaged me on Xbox too, saying like yeah, and like we were kind of going back and forth and saying like yeah, Starfield's really good. And he's like yeah, it's so good. So the fact that like it's also getting people from PlayStation that like, because even he's part of the he was part of the time with the Red Rings and he didn't distrust Xbox after the Red Rings and everything too. So the fact that Starfield got him back to Xbox and everything too like that shows that like the idea of getting these big like people that want exclusives onto Xbox alone and PC literally is helping them in the long run, especially with how people were saying like Xbox don't have any good exclusives and everything too like that before.
So a lot of these also have time frames. So it says that we got confirmation that Elder Scrolls 6 is in development.
Of course.
Their time frame is 2026.
Okay, not too bad.
The next one is an Activision leak, technically.
Oh.
Emails revealed that Nintendo briefed Activision on a next-generation console in December of 2022.
So even Nintendo technically screwed over a little bit on this one too.
So this is a quote-unquote Switch 2 that has performance on par with a PS4 and Xbox One.
That's actually not bad, especially for Nintendo games. Like that can really use a boost.
Yeah, that means I can play fucking Pokemon normally. Sorry, I had to throw it. I was so fucking mad.
We literally had the exact same idea at that point.
That's my first thought. I was like, oh my god, I can play Pokemon at the actual fucking frame rate I'm supposed to. That'd be amazing. But that's my other fucking problem. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to this. That's my other fucking problem is because Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom run perfectly fucking flawlessly.
Yeah.
But Pokemon is so unoptimized from a fucking Nintendo fucking franchise that they should just put that shit on Xbox. I'm just saying they should absolutely put Pokemon on other consoles because it would perform substantially better.
Oh yeah, definitely. If anything, at that point.
Sorry. So yes, God. there's a rumored Switch 2 almost confirmed because the dev kits are out there. Yeah. More aligned with PS4 and Xbox One. So that is another one.
Damn, that's crazy.
The next is kind of big.
Oh, actually, hold up. Before you start that, you remember? I kind of want to go back to Activision and everything too. Sorry about that, but it's funny thing too, because like when the whole like thing about like, you know, Bethesda getting acquired and their subsidiaries being, or not Bethesda, Activision getting acquired with their subsidiaries and stuff. One of the studios that's under the Activision that I'm pretty sure you probably might know because they were also with the Bungie helping out with the season or the Forsaken DLC was the High Moon Studios. Mm-hmm. And the fact too that like people even like were saying that there was apparently talks or like talks between Hasbro and Microsoft saying that like if they do acquire it, they were asking if they can actually scour, because at one point people were saying that oh yeah, these games were lost on the hard drive somewhere. But they're saying like, no, these games aren't lost. They're just somewhere in these hard drives somewhere. Hasbro actually asked Microsoft to see if they can find these Transformer games. So the Transformer games I'm talking about is War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so they were asking them, hey, can you find these games and everything too? And people were thinking like, oh, because they wanted to like re-release it because they're only specifically on the 360. And I don't think they're even on the 360 store anymore, I don't think, from what I remember.
No, I think they're only like, I've seen disc copies, but I've never seen like the digital prompts for them.
Yeah, because I have the disc copy of War for Cybertron. I know if I have Fall of Cybertron, I think I might have that digitally, but I know I played it before, but people are saying that they might, if they do that, people might think they might get the game code and may actually remaster it. I think, or I don't know. This is my speculation that they might, because of what they're asking and everything, they might actually re-release it to the Xbox One as a remaster, if anything like that too. Because those two specific like games are widely known in the Transformer fandom as being the best like Transformers games ever, if at least in my opinion, because they're not only set in like in the Cybertron universe or like in the world and everything too, with the classic like pre G1 and everything too. It also was like pretty much really like good gameplay and everything too as well. Story on it is so good that like even there's certain ones that I actually do sometimes come back to like rewatch the scenes and everything too as well. Especially the trailers too. The cinematic trailers that they release, so good too as well. It's so good. Like it got me hyped up, and I still remember the Game Informer like freaking like issue of Cybertron. I think it was either Fall for Cybertron of it and everything. It's lost in time. I know I had it before. It's lost somewhere in my room, or if not, it's been thrown out. But yeah, that's the one thing like I remember hearing like months back too, during that whole like beginning era of like Activision being acquired by Microsoft and everything too as well. But yeah, anyway, go on. Sorry,
that's that would be fucking dope. I would definitely look forward to that. The other ones are the code names and looks for their next systems.
Yeah.
So the next one is an Xbox Series X refresh codenamed, and I sent this to her, codenamed Brooklyn. They are
really funny.
Calling it Gen 9 console gaming with larger internal storage, faster Wi-Fi, new controller, and it's cylindrical.
So basically, almost, I think I saw something about that, which is the funny thing too, because I immediately saw that. I was thinking like, Apple must have had a hand at looking at this and everything.
Yeah, too. It looks like a Mac trash can.
Yeah.
It also has like USB-C at the front. There's no disk drive.
Oh.
Wi-Fi 6.
Yeah.
Better power sustainability. They also talked about an Xbox Series S refresh, codenamed Elwood. Again, better storage, same $399 price, 1 terabyte hard drive, Wi-Fi 6. The next couple slides are a little interesting because it goes over a controller, which is two-toned. So it almost looks like a what's the word? A DualSense controller, like a PlayStation controller.
What?
So I'm gonna send this to you in Discord, and I want you to take a look at it because it's a black and white controller.
I'm on chat, right?
Oh, I'm just sending it to you directly.
Oh, okay, got it. Let me see. Oh, what the? Oh, that's a funky look of the color scheme at this one.
It's interesting, right? But that's not the stranger part about that. If you look, it says Play Anywhere, Xbox Wireless 2, which is their probably like new direct frequency for gaming. And under that, it says Direct to Cloud. So for Play Anywhere, that means that the controller uploads its inputs directly to the cloud to process the game that you're playing? Instead of the latency from, I guess it skips the latency from like your phone trying to process it or whatever like system you're playing it on, and just directly sends the input straight to the quote unquote console that's running your cloud-based game.
That seems interesting, but also then like, that's interesting because I can understand it, but also you'll still have that kind of. I mean, unless if you have really good internet and mitigate that lag, there's still that slight lag you'll have from.
But maybe this delays that, and it makes it more aligned with the inputs that's coming to your phone.
That would be pretty smart if they can actually able to. That'd be a smart idea.
Because really, like, where does the lag come in from that input? Is it your controller sending the input to your phone, relaying that back to the internet, and then back to your phone? Or does it negate that entire latency because your phone's not doing any of it? It's just directly on the screen where it's happening.
Yeah.
That's the other wild thing is we're finally getting an accelerometer. So you know how DualSenses, you can tilt them and they have controls? These will have tilt controls.
That's going to be pretty smart, or that's going to be pretty cool, especially like Like, because I think that was a kind of cool idea that I think PlayStation should do more with that. Because there's certain games that probably you would think that would probably be cool to have, like especially with first person, maybe not in multiplayer, but like maybe in first person like solo games that I could think of that like if you like that if you can like kind of like get hide behind cover and you can kind of peek around the cover using an accelerometer, kind of like that too as well. If you really think about that, that'd be pretty cool. Because like especially with certain people, like I'm sure like you and me, like there's certain times where we kind of like do get really into the game where we kind of like do a lot of motions and everything with our controller, like that, like especially like with racing too as well, like where we actually do tilt our body trying to like make the turn and everything like that too. That'd be pretty cool. That's like really cool like idea. I don't think that's like really utilized often enough in the like gaming space. I think if anything, even though it sometimes is a gimmick, but if you do it like smartly and kind of like maybe like not like kind of like blown out like how 3D is like the 3D movies and stuff, like oh hey we got 3D and everything too, like make it like subtle and everything, like kind of like not like fully interfering with the immersion and everything too. It could be really utilized really well.
Let me
like
tell you, one of the coolest instances of using that accelerometer for a PlayStation was Infamous 2 or Infamous Second Son. You have to completely tilt the controller sideways, and then you shake it like because it's a spray can. So you shake the can up, you can feel the vibrations making it feel like a paint can, and then you have to keep holding it sideways and actually like graffiti the wall in the game. That was like a super cool fucking moment, but like, that's just one use case I remember of the actual accelerometer being useful.
Yeah, I had to actually like save it and actually look closely into the details because it's kind of hard to see through Discord.
So there's another slide that's just like the general tech specs of everything. There is two other things that aren't shown visually, but it says Xbox Series X and XDL, codenamed Uther. That's not shown here. And then Xbox Universal Controller in Igraine, I believe it sounds pronounced. That's also not shown here. So I'm not too sure what those are, or if XDL is just like their cloud version, because a lot of the next stuff I'm going to talk about is just cloud gaming.
Yeah.
So I don't know what those are going to be, but those are expected in 2024.
Interesting. So basically, like next year, I'm sure they probably like will have like a like an Xbox Fan Fest thing. I bet you like that probably will show off all these new ones. I bet you, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
Which also I kind of noticed too, like from the immersion thing on that controller, you notice that they said the VCA haptics doubles as speakers.
Yeah,
I was not expecting that. If anything,
so it's again that makes it more aligned with like a DualShock or a DualSense.
But it's like, but instead of being like in the middle of the controller, it's on the from the looks of it might be like, where would it be? If anything, like maybe the handles. No, that wouldn't be.
Well, smart. That would muffle it. It'd probably be on like the bottom parts of the controller where you don't like have skin contact.
Yeah. Oh, hey, that's actually pretty cool. Like a lift to wake up the controller. That's actually pretty smart.
Yeah.
I didn't think. Dope. Yeah, because there's certain times where it's like I put my controller down, kind of like do whatever I want, and then when I put it back up, like try to press my back button, it's like, oh right, controller's freaking not on. Turn it back on. That's actually pretty smart too. Especially like makes it like let less like. Kind of like time, like trying to like go back into the game and everything like that too.
The next point.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Keep interrupting you.
Go ahead.
Because I'm really looking at this thing, and the one thing that I really also spotted was the repair and disassembly part.
The fact that, I like the fact that like we can actually probably like reorder our parts separately. Yeah. For a more consumer-based repairability. I love when companies do that.
Yeah, because that's the one thing that everybody, like every consumer, always kind of hates from big companies. The fact that you can't repair your like things and everything too, electronics and everything too, and it's not widely available. But seeing that's actually pretty cool, especially like when these controllers start getting stick drift, that you can probably fix it too as well. That makes it so much more better than like buying like maybe like $5-10 parts instead of buying a whole new controller.
Yeah, if I can buy a $30 fucking like thumbstick assembly, like.
Yeah, or if not, like even like or if not even like freaking like open the controller and like kind of clean out the insides too and make it even better than before too as well. After a while, that makes it so much more better. All right, go on. Sorry, I'm done with that.
The next two are video game related. Fallout 3 and Oblivion are getting remastered.
Really? That's I'm shocked that hasn't happened any sooner, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you really think about it, because those are like really big peak Bethesda games too that everybody loves.
Now, this is a 3-year-old document, so we could actually be getting these soon.
That's true.
So those are two larger things. The next stuff is kind of leading into what I'm going to talk to here in the future. It goes over the key strategic decisions and investments that they're working on for the future. A lot of it's just like better CPU and GPU performance, better ray tracing, better compatibility. There's a weird one in here, and then I'm going to go into that.
Yeah.
There's something in here listed as Thin OS.
Thin OS?
Thin OS. So what that is, and it leads into the next section a little bit, and I'll backtrack because it kind of jumps back and forth between what I want to talk about. There's an entire slide dedicated to like Xbox Gaming Beyond. So it already goes into like xCloud a little bit, where it's like browser-based applications, mobile, smart TVs. It's also going to start expanding a little bit from what this slideshow shows.
Oh.
So it's showing third-party streaming sticks and like setup boxes, so like Roku devices and like Chromecast.
Yeah.
Dedicated cloud gaming box.
Oh.
Consoles, high-end PC, something called Cloud Blade that just I'm not sure what that is yet. But smack dab in the middle of all of that is a handheld listed.
Oh?
And it looks very similar to like a Steam Deck and a Switch. It has 2 controllers on the left and right and a large screen in the middle for an Xbox handheld device. And Thin OS specifically states that it's for like a $99 operating system for consumer handheld systems.
$99?
Well, that's just for the operating system.
Okay,
So the handheld itself is probably only cloud gaming based. Like it doesn't have like dedicated RAM and everything that built into it.
Yeah.
But there is a possibility of a cloud based Xbox handheld.
That would be interesting if they can really pull this off.
The bottom stuff even goes into like making their own first party mobile controllers, one-handed controllers, their own keyboards and mouse, peripherals. Wow. So that's the big one too, is a direct to cloud streaming tablet.
That's actually that's actually pretty interesting to see that like actually work, if anything.
The rest of the article, it just like goes over. There's a possibility Red Dead might get like Red Dead 2 specifically might get a next gen update for the new console, the next generation of consoles. So not Brooklyn and not Elwood. Are slated for 2028.
Damn, that's already. These came out in 2020, right?
Yeah, but they still kind of count as Generation 8.
Really? I wouldn't think so.
Oh no, you're right. They should be Gen 9 because like Xbox One and then Xbox Series is the next iteration. So the next iteration would be those
Gen
systems.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah, because damn, that's already been 8 years at that point. God damn. Because even I was like thinking like I was trying to think like freaking back to 2012 or 2013, like back when, or even 2010, I think, for like the Xbox One and everything too, like that, and the PS4 is like wow, like it doesn't feel like it's been that long too as well. The fact that like these consoles been out, but they're already looking forward to the next generation of consoles at this point, which is kind of astounding, like how fast these consoles are too, because it's just really crazy to think about that too. Because like almost like ironic, I hate putting us like how old we are. 20 years ago it was like GameCube and everything like that too. GameCube, PlayStation 2, like, and then even then after that the 360 and PlayStation 3 and everything too with the freaking Wii. It's like crazy to think how fast gaming is but also kind of like it feels like it's also a little slow too at certain points, like how some of these years been kind of like a little dead with gaming and everything too, like with not really big releases coming out and everything.
Yeah, like the 8 years like seems like a long time, but then you have to remember like PlayStation 5 and Xbox has already been out for like 3 years or so.
Yeah.
So we're already almost midway into the next console cycle. So
basically, I mean, we're already getting our refresh too.
Yeah.
So.
And then the last like couple points of the article are just like emails that were leaked between like Phil Spencer and like some other individuals. There was one where Phil Spencer talks about wanting to buy Nintendo.
Yeah, I remember like seeing about that.
There's like his opinions on the PS5 reveal, how Microsoft was panicking about a huge gap in their 2022 game lineup. Like they underestimated Baldur's Gate 3's release.
I'm sure.
And then the final note, which is kind of interesting, I want to know your take on this. And then we'll go ahead and wrap up, is the Xbox Series S is more popular than we expected.
Honestly, I kind of agree. Like, I would agree that the Series S is actually a lot popular.
It's a high percentage.
Yeah, like I kind of agree with that. If anything,
75% of people own an Xbox Series S over an X.
I believe it because it's not only it's like a good like starter like console into the Xbox like gaming, because also I literally bought a Xbox Series S for Dom, and then as I said like my buddy got a Series
for
S.
Brooklyn, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like an easy to get into. It's not breaking the bank like how with the Series X, and plus like if you're just casually gaming, it's basically just what you need. And plus like even though like it's kind of a little limited on memory, it still is enough memory to at least get like some of the few games, especially if you get played like nothing but like indie games, and you can basically like get like a bunch of indie games and everything too like that, or if like maybe one or two big games. But I believe that the Series S is a lot more popular to Xbox to the Series X model, because I think I remember like people were saying like before that the Series S is kind of like for more like the casual, more like starter consoles and everything.
It's very entry level.
Yeah, while the X is for like the more hardcore, the people that like know that like they are into the gaming and that really wants it, like how we are and everything too. Like I mean, we bought like two Series X's, the original and then like the Halo one too. So you know how big we are into it and everything too.
I think that's another thing too, is like, you know, for PlayStation had the PS4 and then the PS4 Pro. Now there's not really like an entry-level PlayStation system. It's like a $400 for a digital or $500 for a physical. $300 for a digital, and it's 1440p like gaming is very budget conscious. Just for like entry-level gaming. It's you know, I could buy a $2,000 gaming PC, or I can get a fucking Series S and play like 90% of the titles that are out there.
At least, yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing. Like I kind of like I think like because usually I think because they mostly don't like think of the casual gaming much, because sometimes the casual gaming scene is like not really like been big. I think early on, because especially as I said before, if you compare it like literally like even almost like 10 years ago, like how like different the gaming scene is, and like how much more wider gaming is now at the moment compared to like even just 10 years ago. Is the fact that like people are now more into gaming at this point too as well, and especially with the pandemic happening too, that people were staying in, they needed more things to do, so like stuff that like basically like you wouldn't think that would be big and everything became big during a time when everybody stayed in. So I think with that, with everybody wanting to like play into the gaming, especially with like all the indie stuff like getting like a lot more different things, and some of the bigger games finally getting recognized too, like, oh hey, I can actually, if I want to play this game, I'm not gonna break the bank to buy like a bigger console. I could just buy this smaller one, and if I don't play enough games, it's perfect enough memory for me too as well. It's just I kind of believe that, if anything, that they were shocked about that too.
Well, thank you so much for listening to episode 11 of the Skillless Podcast. Be sure to check us out on our socials at Team No Skill on Twitter and Instagram, and be sure to check out the YouTube version of the podcast as well. Seth, do you have anything else for the people this week?
Not really at the moment. We'll try to see if we can talk a little bit more, if anything, too, because I know there's some stuff that happened between last time and or last episode and this episode that we still haven't talked about, like our D&D adventures, as well as D&D adventures basically is what I can remember at the moment right now. But
maybe we'll have to have a little supplemental episode.
Yeah, like maybe 0.5 if anything at that point.
Yeah. Well, a little catch-up session. But again, thank you so much for listening. We will catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.
See you later.
I'm not into it. I'm not into it. I'm not.